Hey guys, how's it going? This is probably my third time trying to make this video. Trying to just calm her down a little bit because I'm a little rageful today. I'll tell you what, if there's one thing that I excel at, it is uniting the people in rage. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's my gift. From Jesus himself, I think. Anyway, I've done it again. Me and my mouth causing discord and problems, but anyway, let me get you around the story here. My 12-year-old son, Jeremy, has decided he would like a guinea pig. Real simple. I want a guinea pig, Mom. Okay, well, what do you want to do with it? Well, I'd like to do 4-H next year like my sister does. Fantastic. His older sister shows rabbits in 4-H and outside of 4-H, and she shows market lambs. Okay? That's what she does. So he wants to be like his older sister. And I say, great, fantastic, let's go. If there's one thing that I will go 10 toes in on and a hill that I will die on, it is the fact that 4-H is amazing and wonderful and it makes amazing adults and human beings. Argue me till I'm blue in the face. I really don't care. Great. So we decide to get a guinea pig. What's my first thing that I want to do? I want to try to find one in a rescue or an animal shelter, right? That's the right thing to do, right? Sure. That was my first mistake because I've dealt with rescues before and I've been very open about it on here and the nightmare that it is. And this time also did not disappoint. So I fill out the application, a lengthy application, wanting to know, are you able to, provide for this animal? Do you know, are you going to make sure that you feed it the right way? Are you going to give it proper housing? Are you going to give us the blood of your newborn if you won't? Yes. And then came the magic question of, look at a rabbit show banner in the background, foreshadowing. What happened next was the question of, is your family a 4-H family? And I said, yes, because we are, and I'm a farm her. That was it. Within 30 minutes, I got the rejection email saying, absolutely not. We're not going to give you anything. Except a hard time because you are in 4-H. And I found that very interesting and somewhat disappointing. And of course I had to share my experience on the Facebook because that's what I do. Which then incited the snowballish rage of a flurry of hundreds of comments of people going back and forth. I don't know any of these people, but my profile's public, so it landed on somebody's news feed, and then the more you comment, the more the algorithm just kicks up, which is great. I always tell people you can fight with me all day long. That's fine. All press is good press, and you're just helping me get my name out there. So go ahead and argue with me. It's fine. The people that are like, oh my gosh, death to 4-H. 4-H is evil, horrible. I had to hear, I don't know how many stories about back when I was 13 years old, I had a chicken and it was blah, blah, blah. And it was so stressed and Jesus, Lord in heaven. The stories I heard were wild. People go in and take animals out of the cages during 4-H shows, and really, I have yet to see somebody walk up behind a steer and take that sucker for a walk down the midway. I mean, maybe it does happen. I don't know. But it was wild to me, the amount of misinformation that is spread by PETA propaganda and then eaten up by these rescue groups. And don't come at me because I also do, as you know, I have 2 rescues right now of livestock guardian dogs. I'm for it, but I'm educated and I'm not stupid. And I don't believe the spoonfuls of garbage that propaganda feeds me. I do my own research on things. I don't just blindly believe what people tell me. It blows my mind. Just the amount of people jumping on this Facebook thread and we're just ripping me a new one and then when they find out that, we raise rabbits for meat. What happens when they find out that I raise sheep for meat? And chickens, oh my gosh. Another thing I always tell people when they're usually women, having a fit, is I hope to God you don't eat meat. I hope you don't eat meat. I hope you don't drink or eat anything dairy, yogurt, cheeses. And I hope you don't eat eggs, because guess where all of these things come from? And when you're buying them from places that mass produce stuff, that's where your animal husbandry drops to trash. That's when you have animals in terrible conditions. And don't even get me started on what slaughterhouses look like on the inside. But to attack a small farmer or a 4-H family and say how evil they are and abusive to their animals. Blows my mind. Saying with rabbits how it's terrible that they're shown because they're locked in tiny little cages in 5,000 degree heat with no enrichment toys. One lady was nice enough to educate me that the majority of rabbit population in America are actually in pet homes and people's homes. That is the largest crock of bull that I have ever heard. That is the minority of people that think that is somehow a good life for them. Because guess what? It's not. That's not what they were created for. That's not what they were bred for. Kings and queens weren't sitting there with rabbits on their laps and petting them all day. So educate yourself, please, before you just lump us all together and saying that 4-H is awful. Because holy hell, that's a terrible statement to have. And as long as we're on PETA propaganda and then these rescues that just eat that by the spoonful, I saw a couple billboards that are fun since it is fair season and 4-H is evil. One of them was an Angora rabbit. For those of you that don't know what an Angora rabbit is, they're big, floofy. They got this big old wild 80s hair. It's amazing. And people use the fur or the hair, whatever it is, and you can like make stuff with it. I don't know anything about that, but they do. The PETA poster showed the big farmer, angry scowl, pinning this poor, I'm so scared bunny down, and was skinning it alive. Just ripping its fur off it while it was saying, help me, blood everywhere. Yeah, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. They also showed a sheep in this PETA propaganda with the same thing. Big farmer, I have a scowl on my face, pinning the little sheep down, and it's screaming, help me, as it's bleeding out, as it's having its wool sheared. Skinning it alive again, like the rabbit. Also, doesn't happen. And what do you think would happen if we did not shear the wool sheep? Maybe you should look up fly strike. Try that. Why don't you look up what maggots look like when they get in the wool and then the animals aren't properly taken care of. Better yet, let's bring the sheep in the house. Bring all the animals in the house and let them live in their happy existence in a house. Because that makes you, as a human, more comfortable. And that's what it boils down to, is these people are trying to do the good thing, the right thing. I have no doubt that these rescues mean well. 90% of them. There are some that are awful and they're making profits off of people and whatever, but the gross majority of these rescues are trying to do the right thing. They're trying to screen homes. They're trying to get animals in the best homes possible. Yes, but you cannot lump everything like that and then call it mean, terrible, bad. No. And unfortunately, the majority of these rescues are ran by people that are a little unhinged and humanize everything and make it very personal about them to make themselves feel better. So there's a group locally to me that is trying to rescue and trap every feral cat and have it spayed and neutered and then off to a good home, and they'll complain about not having enough money, and they need money because every cat that they take in, let's say it's a feral tomcat and it needs a cat or a leg amputated, they will pay then to take this wild cat, take it in, have it neutered, cut its leg off, and then try to then rehabilitate it and put it into a home instead of euthanizing it to do the right thing. I'm sorry I said it, to give it a good quality of life. Imagine the stress now that cat is under for the rest of its life. Like, sometimes doing the right thing is doing the hard thing, and sometimes doing the ethical thing by animals is doing that which is uncomfortable to us as humans and may make us sad and hurt. And it sucks. It does. But it's the right thing to do sometimes. You can't rescue and coddle every breathing thing. You can't. But anyway, back to my rant. So yeah, I just... don't lump us all as 4-Hers into demonic beings that are taking in animals so we can sacrifice them in the night. Because I have yet to see that happen at a 4-H meeting. I don't know what the hell kind of 4-H meetings y'all are going to, but I haven't seen one of those yet. But I'll keep investigating, and I'll report back to you. Thanks for tuning in.